I want to show you how to create bead cage earrings. And the great thing about these earrings, or the technique involved, is that you'll learn to make spirals. Here is a necklace with lots of spirals on it. And I can tell you, every time I create pieces with spirals on, everyone thinks they look very Celtic, and it's just an instant sort of lovely thing to do. So let me show you how to make a cage which involves making 2 spirals. You need to cut, we're actually going to be using silver plated wire, so we've graduated up from the copper now, and you need to cut a length to fit the bead you're going to be working with. Now I can't give you an exact length, but approximately I would say for an 8mm bead or so, you would need about 7 to 8 inches of wire. That's very approximate. But I'm going to sort of cut about, let me think, about 7 inches or so for these earrings. Now, when you're making earrings, obviously, cut the wires at the same time. So once I've cut one, I'm going to now go straight to cut the other because I want to make sure I've got the same length. So you can work in unison like that. Now, we're going to start making spirals at each end. So to do this, you'll need your round nose pliers. And to begin with, I want you to make a circle. So you pick up the very, very end of the wire and just curl it around the tool so that you have one circle. Now make sure that circle is not too small, because at the end, we're going to have to pull it through. So another one at the other end. So we now have 2 circles, one going in one direction and the other in the opposite direction. Now I'm going to use my flat nose pliers, and I'm going to grip the wire where the circle is, just leaving a little bit of the side of that circle exposed. I'll grip it hard in this hand, and with this hand I'm going to pull the wire round, and you just need to do it in little sort of pushes like this to get started. Once you've got the wire curling round itself, it'll become a lot easier, and you'll go into a sort of pattern or rhythm. So I'm just curling the wire around itself, and you'll notice that I'm keeping my fingers really close to the tool. If I was to leave a gap, the wire could sort of kink or go, in the wrong direction. So make sure you keep your fingers really, really close to the spiral. Now once that is getting bigger, you can see the spiral forming. I'm going to turn it over to the other side and start working on this end. So the same thing again, but it's curling in the opposite direction. So you just keep the grip very firm on the wire that's currently being coiled. The emphasis of the grip is always on the wire. This has already been made, so that's just staying flat in the tool, but just grip the wire that's being coiled. So when that spiral gets a bit bigger than the other one, turn it round again and work on the opposite side. And you just keep going backwards and forwards to the 2 ends until the spirals are approximately the same diameter. Once you've done that, you can do this with your fingers, just fold one spiral on top of the other and squeeze it down so that one is flattened above the other. Now, using the very tips of your flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers, doesn't matter which, pick the center, just pick up the center of that circle. You want to grip just the top of the circle, not the cut end, and pull it out so that it sits 90 degrees to the rest of the coils. And then turn it over and do the same on the opposite side. So just pull it out. You'll need your fingernails to hold the other coils back and bring that up so that it sits 90 degrees that on both sides. And there you have those 2 little circles sitting proud of the coil. Now I'm going to hold those 2 circles and gently stretch. So I'm stretching those coils apart, and once you've stretched it a bit, just ease the spaces in the coils on each side, pulling them out. A little bit like a sort of open spring at this end. This is the widest part of your cage or spread coil at this stage, and that is where you can pop your bead in. So pop your bead in there. It doesn't have to be a round bead, as long as it can fit in that widest part, and then push all those coils back around the bead, and you just bring them down around, and you just have to use the sort of the ends of your nails, whatever's left after you've done the wire work, and you can push that back so that it sits back to where it was in the coil, and that will form the base of your cage. And now you just spend a bit of time evening out the spaces on the cage so that it looks nice and even, and you can see now that that bead is completely encircled or caged. So that's how you make cages for beads, and you can experiment with more wire for larger beads and different shaped beads, but it's a beautiful way of encasing beads and semi-precious stones.